Oi, Mick Weller here. So, I recently heard it through the grapevine. Yours truly was voted by the fans into the NWF Hall of Fame. Well, I've always thought the fans were a bunch of bloody dongos anyway, but what's really important here is that I received the recognition I deserve for my greatness. Now, bugger off.
Oh man, you gotta love
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, we're live.
We are live, and Mick Weller with the little announcement there, huh, Dave?
Yeah. And on that note, you know, I was kind of in shock by the end of last show. And I just wanted to tell everybody a wholehearted thank you for anybody who voted. I greatly appreciate it. And there's more to come from Crossen and Dixie Dave.
Yep, and I know Dave, you wanted to have that moment to say that, and I'm sure everybody appreciates hearing that. And I just want to say to you and to Terry and Jamie and Mick Weller, uh, and Mike Whaley, look, Jeff
And Jeff,
Dinsmore. Congratulations to all of you getting voted in. I'm so glad. I'm happy that we had a really nice, fun Hall of Fame, really, to recognize you guys, and that was a lot of fun. I really
exactly.
that was Dave. For all you've done with me and the show and everything for the last couple of years here doing Rewind. Personally, it means a lot to me that you got in, and another one, Mike Whaley, Mr. Macho should have been in a long time ago. But we don't decide it, right?
Yep.
It's the fans, and that's for anybody out there wondering, it's the fans. You guys decide that with your votes, and it was fun. It was really fun.
To anybody who may have been bah humbug alumni wise about the voting, we all had equal opportunity, and the only way that anybody can influence the votes is by getting their friends to vote.
Yeah, and making an appearance on the show here, right?
Yeah.
I mean that goes primarily the people who vote, Dave, and I can tell you just because I know because I seen the votes come in. They're primarily YouTube viewers.
Yeah.
So if they're watching, and that's so yeah. And we're not saying you have to come on the show either. I don't want to put that out there either. I don't want people to think alumni think they have to be on our show. Look, I've always left that up to the alumni. If they want to come on, great. We're always welcoming anybody. And if you don't, that's fine too. It's not a requirement by any means. But it was a fun Hall of Fame, and it was great. And we enjoyed last week, and we didn't have as much to watch last week. It was just mainly doing our inductions and stuff. But we got a show today, Dave. We're going to the Garage Studios, Studio Taping 44. The pinnacle, as I like to call, of the garage days. Anybody who was around back then knows what I'm talking about. This was the heyday of the garage, only because Eyewitness News did their story on us. And when that hit, not only did kind of gain popularity on the show, but a lot of other kids wanted to come on the show, obviously, right?
Oh yeah.
So it was a kind of a peak time. We had lots of lightweight wrestlers coming in here. Some of these guys are one and dones and stuff. And let me just get caught up on a few comments here.
I was just getting ready for that.
King Coop is in the house tonight, folks, as usual. And King says, can't wait for the show. Also have my DVD collection of the Armory events. He loves them. Yeah, he was one of the ones that won the 4 DVD set from the voting. He got a set. So some of this stuff has been mailed out on those kind of things. The only thing I haven't got mailed out yet for those of you waiting is the book or DVD. If you had done that, and plus I also have a bunch to get to the Sky Sports crew. But so that's all coming. And so just stay tuned for that. I'm kind of waiting for the deadline with everybody else so I can kind of do that mailer all at once with those book or DVDs. So I have like a 30-day claim window. So
Yep.
The end of the month here, we'll get that. Or I should say the first weekend in May, we'll get that squared away. Notice the banner, Dave.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that in a second. I just want to get through some of these comments, though. So, Sports Video says, hey guys, thanks for a great show last week. I can't believe that you were able to post all those videos and showcases everyone nominated in the NWF Hall of Fame. I know. That's why I was telling Dave. I said, Dave, this is the last Hall of Fame. These Hall of Fames, I told you going in, Dave, they are a lot of work.
Yep. And as I've
Yeah.
said before, I'm glad that the video production end, you know what you're doing, and you can get that all together.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of work, and we're all busy with lives too. It's not like this is their everything. So
Exactly.
so yeah,
I mean,
but
Crusher's got a full-time job. I've got a full-time job.
yeah,
Got a family to take care of.
and
You know,
but I appreciate though Sports Video acknowledging all that.
yeah.
And then Sky Sports Video News, part of the Sky Sports crew. Between the five of us, there were very few nominees that we could agree upon. Some of us went for the so-called heels, but they made the company a lot more interesting. Yeah, heels always do. When we talk about our guest here, Subforce Arnie, he's a heel, Dave.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute, but yeah.
Well, without the heels, you can't have the baby faces.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. And I was Crusher Crossen was a heel for a while too, here and there. I had my heel moments.
My character was kind of a tweener. I mean, I could bounce back and forth either way.
Yeah, you were going heel though at the end there. You were definitely going heel. And then let's see. Gizmo says, I don't know what happened, but yesterday we received the NWF World Wrestling Belt. I am not sure how we got it, but it is hanging proudly in our studio. Well, that's because one of your guys won that belt. I forget who it was. Oculus, I think. So the Oculus email that he said he wants to make sure that you got that. So that is why that showed up. And that's the end. He actually got the NWF National Belt, Dave, the second belt down there above, hanging up there. So yeah, they got that.
The one with black strap.
Yeah, that was a cool belt. That was a belt designed by Steve Engstrom. It was the second belt he made after the NWF World title above it, and that was a very that belt's obviously a replica of it, but a very cool belt. Very cool belt. It was also doubled as the NWF lightweight title, and I'm having that made, the NWF lightweight title. It's a little different. I had to kind of change it a little bit. I can't make it because it was the same belt. We used the same belt for the lightweight belt, so I had to do something different there. Sports Talk 117 says, we love you, Dave. Congratulations. It was great to share this honor with you. Well-deserved, Dave and Crusher. Thank you, Sports Talk.
Well, thank you, Sports Talk. As I said at the beginning of the show, it is greatly appreciated. I mean,
yeah.
Last week I was in total shock.
Yeah, you were shell-shocked. I didn't tell him, guys. He didn't know.
I mean, real canon, no kayfabe. No kayfabe in it here. I mean, most of the night, Thursday night, after the show, last show, my fiance would sit there and pinch my arm, because I'd be like, did that really just happen? She'd be pinching my arm going, can you feel that? It's real.
Well, I know how important the league was to you, Dave. So to be able to get that honor to get voted in by everybody that watches, I know it meant a lot to you. And I don't want people to think that I don't appreciate it. I do, believe me, especially for my partner, Jeff Dinsmore, Dr. Dredd. I'm so glad that he's in. And as an announcer as well, he was so integral to the league. And I can't say enough. And Mick Weller, Jason Klassen, what a talent. That little intro in the beginning there, he says, maybe for comic relief, I could do some more of these. And I said, absolutely. Go through all the characters. Let's do that Jimmy Fallon before NFL's Fox NFL Sunday bit, do the same thing. So I'm all for it.
So be expecting to see more Jason Clausen characters coming
Yeah.
soon.
And this is classic Jason Clausen, you guys. This is what he loved the most, is doing this kind of thing. So it's no surprise that he gave us a little teaser video like that and wants to do more. So hopefully he will. Because he had so many characters, Dave. He could cycle through all of them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he won't have Scott Tronson yelling at him to keep it down this time in the studio. So
Exactly.
Rattlesnake Jake. So yeah, we got some announcements to make here, guys. And as you can see that banner above, we have a guest coming up next week. As I promised you, I reached out to Subforce Arnie. And let's just kind of show you a little bit about what we're talking about here. Subforce Arnie. Hide the comment here. So Thursday, May 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Little clips here, highlights, kind of show you what he's all about. He's a heel, Dave. This is kids pro wrestling in the UK, in Europe. Slam wrestling. And look, they're doing what we did 40 years ago. And I just had to get a hold of this guy to say, hey, or I should say this young man, this young kid, and say, we need to have you come on the show.
Exactly.
It's too much related to what we did back in the day. And these kids, I watching this stuff, they're good. They're not bad.
I hate to say it looks like they're more polished than we were.
Well, yeah. I mean, now I think they got some adult guidance and training going on behind the scenes as well, which helps. Dave, we didn't have that. We'll talk to Arnie about all that when we have him on as a guest. But look, in front of people, in front of a crowd, just like we did. And from what I understand, Arnie loves it. This is in his blood. And you know what I'm talking about, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
When it's in your blood as a kid, man, there's nothing more you want than to just get in that ring. And he's got that fire. So Subforce Arnie, we'll have him next week. We're still going to do a watch along, by the way, next week. We're just having him as a guest on at the beginning of the show. And then he's waking up, you guys, at 2 a.m. to come on with us. So, let's I'm hoping all our regular viewers tune in for that one. I'm sure, because, he's really looking forward to interacting with the U.S. and about what he's done. And we'll have plenty of footage to show of him and some of his matches and some of their training and everything. So it's going to be great.
The nice thing for us, and I say this jokingly, mind you, the nice thing for us is we can take our Hall of Fame knowledge and pass it on to the next generation.
Well, not that we're really directly involved with them, but it feels like we're passing the torch a little bit.
Yeah.
Letting them
take
they're
it
on
the other
the
side
next
of the
level.
pond. So I don't remember who it was that notified us about Subforce Arnie.
Well, I believe it was King Coop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So King Coop, make sure you're here next week. Or in 2 weeks.
And I would have never found him. I just, I would always come across stuff like this. Now, here's the thing. I have seen this kind of thing before, but it's always been short-lived. It's always been one-off situations or the promoter's son who's getting involved early. Yep. And that's all it is. This looks a little bit different to me. And so I for the first time, it feels very similar to what we did. A little different, but there might be some people behind the scenes running things, but similar.
And you know what? If there is, great. If it's somebody who's got wrestling knowledge over there on the other side of the pond, great for steering the kids in the right direction.
And not only that, we have another one, Wrestling Revolution with Keaton. He's another one in Northern Ireland. Look for him to come on as a guest in the next few weeks after Arnie as well. And we'll be talking to him. A different situation, different league, similar stuff going on. So this is gonna be very interesting. A very interesting guest we'll have just for the beginning of our shows as we get into our regular watch along. So yeah, well, I think everybody's gonna find that very interesting. I know I will. Remember, folks, give us a like and subscribe to the stream, please. It really helps us out. So if you get a chance, hit that like button on the video, because that really helps the algorithm of our searches and stuff and getting more placement, more views and everything. So, and it's really helping because now that we've been having people do that more, our subscriber rate's really been going up. We're at
And,
kind of
you
a
know,
fast
if I may
subscriber
also
rate.
say, if you click the like, you click the subscribe, it's not that much harder to do. One more click and click that bell to receive all notifications. This way, when Crusher throws a video up about something in the middle of the week, you get notified about it.
Yeah.
When we go live, say that you can't remember, are they going live this week? If you click that bell icon, hey, you'll know every time
Yeah,
we're live.
you get notified. So the bell is a big deal. I mean, hit the bell that way you know every time, even when a new video comes up. Speaking of new video, this is going to come in. And now we promised everybody that we were going to have an announcement before we start on the future.
Before you go into that announcement, I believe you said that you had a little footage that you wanted to show.
I do. I want to show you some more restoration. I haven't even posted this on YouTube yet, but part of the restoration process is involving reworking the intros, the show intros.
Yep.
There were two prominent intros we used in the early days. You'll recognize them when you see them. They were always rough looking because when we edited the show, we'd always take it from one show to the other show to the other show, and it'd be like in our 10th generation, and they were just fuzzy looking pieces of garbage, really. And so I thought, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta renovate that whole intro, rebuild it from scratch.
Yeah.
So, but make it look the way it did. So that's I'm going to show you how that turned out. I got some intros to show you, and also part of the restoration process is audio restoration. Dave, I didn't even talk about this part of it.
Exactly.
But I'm restoring the audio and getting rid of hums and background noises and all sorts of stuff, and really bringing out the clarity of the audio. And part of that is getting rid of copyrighted music. Something we have to do. So I need to eliminate the copyrighted music. So I have to either, and there's ways to do that. So I'm using AI technology on that. I'm basically able to take a song out, but leave all the talking. So I can get rid of songs and then replace them with as close to as I can. So the footage I'm going to show you you're going to see the intros and stuff, but with new music that's kind of similar. And so let's take a look at this, Dave. I want everybody to see this kind of where we're going with this.
And folks, this is my first time seeing this footage.
And this is the old one. That's going to eventually stop, and we're just going to show you the new one. Now, here's the new intro. Totally renovated. Or restored. Different music. Same clips. All these clips have been restored, by the way, to HD quality.
Yep.
So yeah, we can't use freeze frame, guys. Sorry, that music cannot be used here. So it's a different song. Now here's the other intro we use quite a bit. And the effect that you just seen there, what I did when I restored this is what I was really wanting it to look like. So that little beginning there, remember that. With the NWF that kind of jagged its way down.
Yep.
Now we're going to bounce out of this and go to the new one of this. Similar music. I can't use Rocky's Overtune, so I had to find something close. Or Overture, whatever it's pronounced. Again, all the clips are the same, Dave. Everything you've seen in the intro, this is all restored, renovated footage. And I keep saying renovated, it's like a house. Restored footage. All the text that we had, I just reduplicated. So anything that said in the original intro, it says again. It's just been rebuilt. Of course, we know this wasn't the case, but we said it. Yep, all the same. Isn't it nice to see it crystal clear?
Oh yeah.
Very famous intro, though. We use this a lot. Many shows this intro is used for. So here's how we take music out. I used Eye of the Tiger, Dave. So this is what I had to do.
Okay, now we're waiting the arrival of Crusher Crossen in the ring.
Sounds like Eye of the Tiger, but it's not.
Okay.
It's a new song.
And I think you can hear his music now. Okay, here it comes, Sean Crusher Crossen. Guys, okay, Sean, first of all, you're wrestling Andy. What do you think about right now? Well, it's just the start. Let me tell you, it's just the start.
All right, now it's just kind of repeating.
Yep.
So, yeah, so that's just a little kind of what I've been up to there, redoing the intros for the restoration, and then kind of showing you how I take a copyrighted song like Eye of the Tiger that I used all the time out, and then replace it with as close as of a royalty-free song that I could that has that Eye of the Tiger sound, right? That beginning at least. So yeah, and I got to try to find songs like that for just about every time we use music like that. It's not easy. But what do you think?
Hey, I like it, and it looks like our viewers like it too.
Yeah, it's yeah, I see all the comments here. Like Gizmo said here, these are like all new videos, so much easier to see and enjoy. Yeah. Now here's the thing with the restoration that I'm going to put a little disclaimer out before our announcement. Not everything restores the same way, and sometimes, as good as it gets, you get what is considered like an AI artifacting that can happen. Usually in the faces and usually in wide shots. So you'll see like some things that just kind of get garbled or doesn't look right or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of because it's trying to fix it, but there's just not enough there for it to work with because it's so far out. That's one of the what I call AI side effects.
Right.
So it's a small trade-off. Yeah, that'll happen, but you get everything else cleaned up, including that. Everything nice and clean and crystal clear. I think it's a trade-off worth dealing with.
Yep.
So that's the one thing I will say on that. So here is what we're doing. This is the announcement. With what's going to happen with all this restored footage. Now, like we said, NWF Rewind, we're going to keep doing that every other week like we always do. But
unlike what my shirt says.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you see I am wearing the new Hall of Fame shirt?
Very nice.
It turned out very well. And I just had to wear it tonight. But no, I want to say so there's been a lot of our fans that enjoyed Pivot Share. And Pivot Share gave you the opportunity to either subscribe or rent or whatever any episode you wanted and see it at your own time and your own leisure and your own quality, really.
Right.
But it was still the old footage. It was not the restored footage. So Pivot Share unfortunately went out of business for the most part. They just don't do it anymore. So everybody that was on Pivot Share, us included, we kind of just got ousted. There was no place for us to go, and we never really had an avenue to go with until now. We are gonna, that was called the NWF Video Network,
right?
And we are gonna now launch what we're calling NWF Wrestling's Video Network Premium, powered by Vimeo OTT. So this is gonna give the return of the NWF Video Network. Only it's gonna be all renovated, restored footage.
None of your original grainy footage.
Exactly. Everything's being rebuilt, reconstructed, restored audio as well. Everything. It's going to be a crystal clear new look for us. and it's going to be available in a subscription format as well as a rental format for those that want to just rent a show here or show there. Now the rental, there won't be a buying option, only because we want to keep our footage with our network. We don't. Last time on Vimeo, or when we did Pivot Share, we did buy out. People buy things, and it didn't really. Not a lot of people bought them, but sometimes when they did, all of a sudden the stuff would wind up everywhere on the internet.
Right.
So we're going to keep it streaming. But when you rent a show, if you're just going to rent a show at a time, you'll get it like a week rental for it. But the rental will actually be the most expensive way to do it, because we're going to offer subscription service, Dave, and the subscription service is going to be as low as, I believe the pricing is going to be, as I don't have it doctored in right yet, but it's going to be around that $6.99 a month.
Right.
Unlimited viewing every all the time in 1080p through this network. And so we don't, Vimeo takes a cut, and then we get a cut, and then this is our way of kind of fundraising to help fund our website, to help fund all the plaques made for the guys, to help fund
this show,
because we have a streaming software that we have to purchase and subscribe to every year. And there's just expenses involved, and I'm not the kind of person to just ask for donations. I want to give you something back for if anybody who were to subscribe. So when we launch this thing, which is probably going to happen around June 1st, I want to say, is when we're going to go with this.
Okay.
We're going to start out small, Dave, because we're going to basically do every 2 weeks, we're going to put a new show into the network.
Right.
Every 2 weeks, a new show is going to come in, and then we're going to build it from there. And we're also going to stream that show that gets premiered on the network on NWF Rewind every other week that we go live. But there's a little disclaimer there. It won't be in 1080p when we stream.
I was just going to say, we were talking about it, and if I remember, when we stream it on the show, it's only going to be 720 because...
Yeah, if I can even get that to go through. It's all going to depend on the file size. We're talking hour-long shows, Dave, at that resolution. Right. We're limited. We're limited to 2 gigabyte file sizes with EVMux that we stream with. So we're just going to have to reduce it to the size that it'll allow us. And then you're still going to see a nice cleaned up show, but it just won't be in the same as subscribing to the network. And that's kind of planned that way, I guess you could say too, right, Dave, to help encourage people to subscribe to the network.
Exactly. Because, say you watch a show that you like, we stream a show that you really like, you can go to the NWF Video Network Premium, and you can watch it as much as you want.
Yep.
And with watching it on the premium show, you don't have to listen to Crusher and I yapping about the show.
Right. Some people like that, but this will give you a chance to be able to
watch it as it was aired back in the day.
Yeah. Yep. But in a cleaned up format, right? These will only be. I see Sky Sports is asking about the DVD of the Month Club. This one of the things I'm committing to with the video network. What you're going to see here will only be available through the video network. There won't be DVDs done of this. There won't be, some side release of any kind. It'll only be on the premium network. And of course, and the way you're going to get it the cheapest price at around that $6.99 a month is when you do like a yearly subscription. It just comes out to $6.99 a month or so, or give or take. But what I'm going to do with that, though, Dave, is anybody that does that for the first when we launch this thing, we'll have a certain time frame. But for everybody that does that, we're also going to throw in a free T-shirt of their choice from our T-shirt collection. So whether you want this Hall of Fame shirt, you want a NWF Rewind T-shirt, you'll get a T-shirt that we're going to throw in as well.
NWF Rewind shirt.
Yep, any T-shirt they want. The Superstar Spectacular 86 shirt that Dave wears a lot, any of them. So you'll be able to pick a shirt. I just want to throw something in a little extra, for anybody that subscribes for the year. Remember, that's our way of fundraising. It's our way to help, to go towards all the work that it takes and the expense it takes behind the scenes.
Right.
So yeah, that's the announcement, guys. Look at we'll have a more formal date, but the tentative date right now we're looking at is June 1st is when we want to launch it, and
Part of the reason we got to do that far out is Crusher needs time to redo these shows.
yeah, yeah,
Him redoing these shows, it's not just something that he can zip through really quick.
yeah, it takes time.
It's hours and hours of work for
him. Dave, I'm gonna get a few comments in here. King Coop says the restored footage. That's a new picture, King Coop too. I like it. That restored footage is awesome. Is forget the fire symbols. I always say it's awesome when I see that. And then he says so far. Yep. And then let's see, Sky Sports. Yeah, this is like I was talking about with Sky Sports. They commented on what happened to the DVD of the month club that you had many years ago. I think we purchased almost every DVD you offered. We still have them in our library today. Yeah, that. So we did that, but that was kind of one of those things where when we ran through all the DVDs, we were done. So there wasn't like, we kind of put them all out and then we hit up, we covered them all. So that's, that was just something I tried back in the day just to, keep interest going and everything. Before, any kind of streaming thing was even available, just a way to kind of get the shows out there really. And, but this video network is going to be so much better than that, though, because first of all, you have live 24/7 access, and it's going to be in better looking quality. I mean, you've seen just in those little highlights I just showed. I mean, right? It's pretty good, pretty cool looking stuff. And
exactly.
So I hope you guys are excited for that. I know we've had a lot of our Pivot Share people that used to like Pivot Share that were we had regular people that subscribed to Pivot Share back then, and they were saying how they wished, I've gotten messages, what happened to Pivot Share? Can we still get this? So yeah. But remember, it's going to be built over time. There'll be a show every 2 weeks that are going to be put into the catalog. And I'm not going to just start at the beginning. I'm going to start in a Group W show. Then the next one's going to go to the Garage Studios. And the next one's going to go to Fred Moore. Then the next one's going to go to the outside Yoho Municipal. Then we're going to go to Dayton Studios. Then we're going to go to the Dry Dock. And then we're going to start again. So the catalog will build itself up with a little bit from every era of the NWF. Make sense?
Yep.
Including the armories. The armories for the first time will be restored. All the armory events.
I was just thinking about something, Crusher. Looking back through our comments.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Gizmo talking about how he received the belt.
Yep.
You know what I'd love to see happen?
What's that?
I'd love to see Gizmo take a picture of that belt and send it to you. Take a picture of himself with that belt and send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's a cool belt. I always liked that national title. I had to use it for the world title when I lost the world title, and I didn't lose it. Steve just took it and trying to teach me a lesson not to leave it laying around in the armory.
Yep.
And I had to use that national title for the world title because I didn't have. Steve was teaching me a lesson, I guess you could say. But yeah, so that's their announcement with that. I hope you guys are excited for the video network when we get going with that. It'll be fun, and you don't have to do a whole subscription so you can see it 24/7. You can always just rent a show at a time if you want to. It's just you'll get a much better deal, and there'll be packages. You can do like month to month subscription. You can do a 3-month subscription, 6-month, or a year, I believe. And the price goes down accordingly the more further out you go. So it's like I said.
You were talking about liking your national belt. I like my national.
The national tag. Yep. Yeah, that was a good belt. And so guys, I hope that's kind of pretty much our news announcements and stuff. Now it's time to start the show with the live stream and go back to the Garage Studios, Dave. Show number 44.
Crusher, while you're getting that loaded up, I'm going to make a comment to you about something that I think we should do.
All right.
You and I know about what's going on next week.
Yes.
Now, what I think would be cool to do is in 2 weeks after we talk to Air Force Arnie,
Our Subforce.
or yes, Air Force Arnie. Sorry. After we talk to Subforce Arnie,
Yep.
I think what would be cool to do is share that with the viewers.
Share.
Share the skills of what we did.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can. Yep. Yeah, that'd be fine. We could do that.
You know, a little teaser for them.
Yeah, and we get on with Subforce, and I'm really looking forward to talking to that young kid.
Yep.
He's why am I so interested? Because I see a lot of myself in him, Dave, and you probably do too. The
Oh, yeah.
fire to want to do this, to get in the ring and do it as a kid. I can relate to what he's doing, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's going to be fun. All right, let me get the show started, guys. Let's go back to, I think it's June 15th, 1985, to the NWF. Make sure
You
I
know,
have the right
some
one here.
interesting things going on here.
Of course, this isn't restored, guys. See what I'm saying? This is what it used to look like. You see how cleaned up it was when I restored it. Yeah, the innovation is not like a, you can't just apply the same settings to every show, 'cause every show has different. So it's like, it doesn't always, I got to literally tune in.
Of the NWF.
It's not easy.
First, coming into the ring now, he is
So
Kid USA.
we were saying, Dave, lots of stuff going on in this show.
Oh, yeah. You know, we were talking about it, and you were telling me about some debuts in this show.
Did you notice the world tag title Kelsey had? That was the
Yeah.
belts back then. They're not the same as our one up on the wall.
Right.
I never did get those restored. I'm still on the fence if I want to do that one. That was the 85 version of the world tag belt. Kind of on the fence on that one because it wasn't a great design, very basic, but
Right.
Here he comes.
and Bulldog the Butcher, his second appearance against Kelsey. You know, obviously, Kid USA. This was the thing back then, guys. Good versus evil in the 80s. That was, you know, that was what it was in professional wrestling. You had your good guys and your bad guys.
Yep.
This is classic old school style, you know. So Butcher is from Russia. He's the heel. Kelsey's from the USA. He's the baby face. You know it just watching the match.
Butcher
right?
whips Kid USA Kelsey into the ropes.
And I guess this kind of answers a question I was going to ask you because it kind of predates when I entered.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you which one in that family was the first one to join, Bulldog or Vandar or Conan.
Yeah, it was Bulldog.
Yep.
Yeah, he came on the show before this, and then Thandar makes his debut, and they're cousins. So Bulldog Butcher and Thandar are cousins.
Yep.
For those who are wondering.
As you hear the chant, USA.
Boy, when you see this stuff cleaned up, you've seen some of this footage from the garage in those intros cleaned up. Wait till you see this stuff cleaned up, guys. And we'll have it on NWF Rewind as well in a little bit lower resolution, but it'll be cleaned up as we do our watch-alongs with it.
Yep.
So, Dave, we got lots of watch-alongs to do again.
As he kicks Butcher.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have all this restored footage.
Yeah.
Stomach.
So these next few watch-alongs we do, guys, are just the shows we want to get to that we never showed you yet. You know, kind of get what we can before we start doing all the new renovated stuff, all the new upscaled.
With a few elbows to the back.
And, you know, doing these watch-alongs with the restored footage, it gives us a whole new library to show you.
Yep. And for those wondering, you know, Vimeo, OTT, it's going to be linked through our website, just like Pivot Share was. So when you want to go and learn about the NWF Video Network Premium or subscribe, you can get to it right from our website. Is where it'll be. And it'll be strictly, you know, accessed through that. So
Butcher starts hammering away on Kid Kelsey.
And those people have the smart TVs and stuff. You'll obviously be able to, get it, access it through the web on the TV. And, most new TVs now let you do that. Then you can put it up,
Yep.
pull it up big
Spear
screen.
kicks from Butcher, and Kid Kelsey is out of the ring.
I was thinking about it, and one of these days I'm going to have to sit down with my fiance, and we're going to have to watch the Armory DVD
As the count of 5 comes
Yeah.
down.
on my 65-inch TV.
Once it's renovated, right?
USA Kelsey
Yep.
is out.
Another thing that it's going to be it'll be a while before we get to this, but I will also be taking NWF Kids Pro Wrestling The Untold Story documentary, and for the first time, that will be done in high definition. So that'll be kind of a very cool thing to see in HD. All the interviews, segments, everything, all in HD.
Has just beaten Butcher. Bulldog from Russia is the ref. Needs some help.
Brian Balaban's your announcer for this.
Crusher
Right here,
Crossen.
Brian Balaban.
I've been just so great because I come in here and Kelsey
Oh
just
boy,
got
here we
done
go.
winning. That Russia guy comes from USSR. I don't know what he's doing around here. I don't like him myself. I'm going to get a match with him as soon as possible. But the main thing's this. Today's the day, man. I'm getting my title shot against that Mosquito Ace. And I'm going to win it, man, because I am so psyched up. And I'm going to win it because I'm not going to win it. And I got a
I don't know what I'm saying.
against the Balabans and the Beavis against me. No tag team partner. All by myself.
Oh boy, that's right.
Are you wrestling 2 at a time, 3 at a time, 1 at a time?
2 at a time. I'm gonna.
2 at a time.
And you're one of them, buddy. So just
One of my famous handicap matches, only this time I bit off more than I could chew, for dang sure. I'd taken on 4 lightweights.
Oh.
Yeah.
The next match.
Yeah, I did it back in the Group W studio with Peterson, Ace, and Campa, and this time I'm taking on 4 lightweights. This is like the most I've ever done.
Is the crowd
2 at a time at
is
least,
on
but
the
4 of them.
bad side of
Yep.
Dr. B. His opponent, Thunder.
Here's Thunder. The debut.
Thunder gets a round of applause, and we have an attack. We have some
Very
expert
timid in these days,
commentary
Dave, he
here from
was.
Kid Kelsey, USA.
Very mild. I know it's hard to believe.
Oh. I can believe it. I mean,
Both men from parts unknown. Both very big men.
I knew Thandar long before NWF.
Yep, you're all in that neighborhood.
Oh, even before the days in Coon Rapids.
Yeah, because you lived in Anoka as well. Yeah.
Yep. I lived in Anoka, not too far from his dad's place. And
Tremendous elbow smash by Dr. D.
This Dr. B, Brett Belchner, this is his name. One of those one and dones, Dave, but his sister, I knew his sister. I went to school with his sister. Tall,
Yeah.
really tall kid. I think he probably went into basketball.
As we hear the
Super
chant,
tall.
Thunder.
And
Over as
that's
Dr.
another one we could have
B
done stuff with.
works
We would have stuck
on.
with this. He was friends with the ref there, Chad Johnson. So
Yeah.
Let's give
he
another
brought him
shot.
into this show.
Oh,
and they
misses
were a
on the
tag
clothesline,
team.
but out goes Thunder.
The first
He comes
national
back
tag
in.
team champions, matter of fact, were
Few
these two.
feet
They
into
had them on this
Thunder's
show.
midsection. A few more kicks. This is the ref trying to
sorry,
get control.
Tim, but
Ooh. Elbow smash to the back. As. Ooh,
A
and
drop kick by a
Dr.
big guy,
B
huh?
Gives a.
You know, the wrestling in this days, Dave, is still
Drop kick.
unpolished, as you would say.
If I do say so
Yep.
myself.
But we're learning. We're getting better.
Yep.
We're doing drop kicks and things like that. We're hitting the
As we
ropes.
watch
And,
the action,
we're really
Kid
starting to
Kelsey,
evolve here.
how is your match against the Butcher?
And
No sweat, man. That
you know,
butcher's
that's the
better.
thing.
well, we knew that we,
As
at that
comes
point in
Thunder
time, you knew that it
against
had
Dr.
to
B.
evolve because
Comes up.
we were getting more
Ooh,
eyes
yeah.
on him.
Fist
because
into
Yeah.
of the
Dr.
new-
B's face.
Yeah, with the
Oh,
news
as
report
Dr.
coming
B
out, and then
goes out of the
shortly
ring.
after that news report, later on at the end of the year, we had Minneapolis Star Tribune do a huge write-up in the Sunday paper
It's
on
the
us.
count of 3 on the
Yep.
go.
And
Thunder
that
with
just
a knee.
snowballed the show more.
Oh,
And
almost
so much so the
celebrating.
insurance agent says, wait a minute, you guys can't do this in this garage. We're going to cancel the insurance policy.
2, 3, and
A
that
little
is
bit too
it.
much attention, I guess.
As your winner, Thunder.
Here's Ace.
Well, I have a surprise for Crush
pressure crossing. He doesn't know what it is. I haven't told no one about it. And as for Kid Kelsey, USA blimp, I have a surprise for him too. Street clothes match. Well, oh boy, am I
Your favorite blue belt.
ready for it.
Oh yeah.
Texas style, I hear.
This was the debut. Was this the debut or no? Last
Texas street clothes and everything.
show before this was the debut of that belt.
That's it, folks.
You know, I think it looks better now, though.
Yeah, it certainly does.
All right, welcome back to the NWF. You just saw an interview with Ace there. And our next match is...
Boy, this is gonna look so good when it gets cleaned up, you guys.
Escorted by Rough Ryan. And our
I'm
next
so
opponent
excited for that.
is Madness Mike.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Because I just know everybody will like the new look.
A new wrestler. And you see they're taunting each other.
That's Killer Cadwell, one of those one and dones in the maroon shirt there.
Um,
I don't even remember his first name.
Mean Bean is not here, so there would be no
So what do we got here?
little
Bad Boy
title
Brian,
matches. Yeah,
Bunis, and
surgery
Eric Balaban, which is
of
Brian
some
Balaban's
sort.
younger brother.
See Balaban go outside. We have
Little guy Eric Balaban
Andrew
was, super
Balaban
little.
commentating here
Probably the
with-
smallest lightweight we ever had.
Is who we are with electrifying Eric going out of the ring, but coming back in against Madness Mike.
Now Bunis Beefcake's calling himself Madness
So
Michael
far, it looks like it's been
Changed
Michael
his name
Madness all the way.
on this show. We still refer to him as Bunis Beefcake because that's who people know him as at the time.
Yeah.
Irish whip.
Well, it's like back in the day, I so
Oh,
wanted to get away
those
from that Dixie Dave gimmick,
Electrifying
but
Eric down.
Well, you went to David Dixon in Dayton Studios, so
Yep.
we're starting to work your way out of it.
And a fist. As Michael Madness is now down.
I always loved Brian's commentating. I thought he was so good. Mike Tenay.
And another
Reminds me of
hit
little Mike
from
Tenay.
Electrifying Eric. Irish whip. Oh,
If anybody
he
remembers Mike
pushes
Tenay
him
back in the day.
down.
WCW.
As-
Always liked him
as Michael Madness
as
goes
a commentator.
out of the ring, and he comes back in. Ooh, and a kick
You know, the
from
Garage
Michael
Studio took a
Madness.
lot of
Another
different
kick,
formations.
another
Notice we got the blue tarps against
six
the
kicks
walls
there.
now. They used to be hung
Yep.
up a little bit further.
Closed
You
fist there
know,
from Michael
we had to clean up the
Madness.
garage and clean out the garage to
Electrifying
do that
Eric
because
goes out of the ring.
Steve kept making the ring bigger, and to make the ring bigger, we had to make room.
Ooh, and
Yep.
So we had to,
and
get the
Electrifying
walls.
Eric comes right back
So,
with a slap.
I don't know why
Yeah,
I
he
went away
fits.
from this vantage point with the camera. This was the
Irish
best
whip.
vantage point for the garage right here.
Ooh, and it looks like they're
We were up on a little
field
table
goal or something
thing in the corner of the
Ooh.
garage, kind of bird's eye, kind of looking down a little bit.
yeah.
As
And in later
Ryan
garage shows, I went away from
cheering
this, and
on
I
Electrifying
can't tell you why. I don't know, because this was a great angle
So far, oh,
when you have a single
sorry to
camera.
say Electrifying Eric was in control, but back comes Mike.
Yeah,
Michael Madness.
Eunice loved doing that chop, continuous
Down
chop
goes Eric. He's
slap
got the ropes.
move. He
Eric's
does
trying
it all the
to
time in his matches. If you ever watch
Michael
this guy.
Madness. Both
By the way,
Yeah.
Ace Andrew Carlson,
on second
still
rope.
very good friends with him today. By the way,
they're both
Troy
coming in.
Bunis.
Electrifying
Yep.
Eric comes back. Ooh,
Yep.
so you got a little arm bar there. Both of them are out of it. Oh, is Electrifying Eric a smash?
You know,
to
for
the
what we're
arm.
doing next week, I wish more of the guys would join in with us.
Irish whip.
Well, I think a lot of it, Dave, is it might be working.
Yep.
So it's like it's kind of is what it is. But
So they can't
for
have
anybody who can make it, I'm sure they will.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, what kind of
Um,
move is that? Ooh, is an elbow to his arm? Michael Madness.
yeah. The wrestling's just
Body
not
slams
quite
Electrifying Eric.
polished yet.
He smashes to the head.
Not quite where we end up at.
I don't know, Dave. You and I, we always look at this with 20/20 vision, with the eyes of perfection. We've got to remember we were kids back then, so it is what it is.
Oh,
but-
yeah. Hey, we thought we were
Oh,
kings
the
back then.
backbreaker.
Yeah, we
And
did.
another one.
And another thing for all you perfectionists out there, think, well, this isn't textbook pro wrestling. This is it's sloppy and everything. Look, professional wrestling was sloppy back then in the 80s. Not everybody was a Ric Flair. And with technique, textbook matches, there was a lot of guys that were kind of rough and sloppy in the ring. Remember?
Yep.
Coming right back.
So not everybody, like Jesse the Body Ventura, couldn't bump for
Chopping into the
nothing.
midsection.
I mean, he could sell, but
Body slam, and he does it. He gets him up.
so we got a question here I see from Sports Talk.
He does it. 1, 2, 3.
Did you guys have parental permission slips before these wrestlers performed in your shows? No, never did that.
No,
No.
if the parents were willing to let the kids go to it, they were able to wrestle.
That's kind of how it was.
You have a challenge today.
I will say this though to that note.
Champion of the NWF.
Hey,
I'll let Kelsey do his interview first, and I'll tell you.
Because I thought he wouldn't.
'Cause I know people like to hear the interviews.
But he did. So, at first it was just gonna be a 5-minute match. So I decided, well, since he decided, let's go a couple steps farther. Get the street clothes match, no disqualification, and 10-minute time limit instead of 5.
I hear there are going to be some street clothes in this
That's
match.
the thing about Kelsey
Yes,
back in
that's
the day.
the
He
one
loved to
thing I
talk.
forgot.
Oh yeah.
It's because Ace, you
Is he
got
still
me
the same way?
pretty Mad. The way
Oh
you
yeah.
ram my hand to the post. Now it's legal. You do it, I do it. You hit me with a chain, I hit you with a chain. You kick me, I kick you. It's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth out there. And
Kelsey losing character for a minute.
Ace, you gouge my eyes, I gouge your eyes. And I am gonna win. There's no way I'm gonna lose a match that I made. I'm not gonna be humiliated. And then there's this
It's just,
Jumpin' Johnson and Dr. B.
some people may comment negatively about that, where he lost character for a second.
Yeah.
Right?
It happens more often than you think in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're world. They're national. See,
I mean, to anybody who's seen the movie The Iron Claw,
In other words, there's a world of a difference.
you
son.
see it happens.
We are
Yeah.
the champions. There's no way they're gonna beat us. We're the champs.
That's all we have, folks.
And Ace, you're going down for calling me a blimp ever.
Here we are. That's the
So, yeah,
NWF, and
back
we
to
have
Sports
a
Talk
daily
117.
match
So-
for you here.
No, we didn't do parental slips, but most of the parents knew because they watched the show, so they knew what was happening.
Ryan.
And for the most part, they'd let their kids do it. I mean, look,
His
you got to remember, there was nothing to compare this to at all at the time.
Right.
The backyard sensation of the 90s where kids were doing outrageous things, jumping off of roofs, light bulbs, thumbtacks, trying to be Mick Foley, the next Mick Foley or the next Hardy Boys. That wasn't happening. So this, first of all, they knew that it was a television production for cable TV. They knew this, and they knew that we were producing it as kids. So, and they seen what we were doing, so they kind of knew of it that, to this degree. So that's kind of how it was looked at. And it just wasn't nothing, parents. Now here I was going to say about this is sometimes kids, would show up, I think, because their friends brought them along to come on the show.
Yeah.
And then their parents find out about this and said, wait a minute, we don't want you doing this. And that's why they were a one and done. In fact, I know we had some of that. So some of the one and dones, that's kind of why, because they came on the show with maybe not having their full permission to begin with. And then some parents said, I don't want you to do this. And then we had other parents that, I know Matt's mom held him out of the July Armory card, and Troy Dazowski's mom held them out of the October Armory card because they both had, one had a hockey camp, the other had a soccer camp coming up, and they just didn't want to risk them getting hurt right prior to this camp because they were forking out a lot of money for those camps. And last thing they want is, a potential maybe injury that could happen. So the parents knew there was a risk, right?
Yeah.
But they also knew how much their kids loved to do it and didn't want to take away that from them either.
As they circle the ring.
Exactly.
And that's really, and bottom line, you guys, they know that we weren't trying to really hurt one another. They knew this. They knew it was a show.
Another knee. Comes up, Irish whip.
We're putting on a show for everybody here.
And a knee to the
So
midsection
that was
as
the bottom
Crossen
line.
goes down.
And a lot of the kids' parents I kind of got to know. I know that I slept over at Andrew's house, Ace's
From Rough Ryan.
place, as we got to be pretty good friends off the show. And I slept over. I was a couple years old, but I had a sleepover there where I stayed over, and I got to talking to his mom quite a bit. And the moms liked me. Kelsey's mom, I talked to her a lot. I talked to your mom, Dave. I I would get in with the moms. I don't know why I did, but I did. And they just there was a sense of trust with me with them. That's something I've never talked about, but yeah, I did. You know, I did spend time whenever I'd be over in the area, whether if I was at Matt's house talking with his mom or the Dzowski's mom across the street, and I would just get to kind of know them and let them get to know me a little bit. You know, as a person. So there was a trust factor there a little bit with us. I hope that addresses that sports talk a little bit.
Here we see.
And
And he gave
how
him
that
a
went.
shot. You say it was a closed fist, says the ref.
Good questions, though, you guys.
Ooh. I don't know what that was. It looked like a head, but oh no, a foreign object. Oh, look at this. As he comes in. It looked like to me
There's
like
an
a
interesting
chain or
question
something.
from
Kid
Sky
USA
Sports.
Kelsey brings it in.
He says, did many of your wrestlers join the school wrestling team when they were 7th grade and above?
Interference from Kid
Some of
USA
the kids
Kelsey.
were already in it.
As we hear the chant, rock
Dr.
and roll.
Destruction,
Well-
Chad Rancor, he was in wrestling.
Yep.
Mike
And
Sanger.
And yours truly spent a little time on the Coon Rapids wrestling
It's
team.
gonna be,
Yep,
yes,
Dave.
the pile driver.
Trying
could be
to
it
think
for
who else was in it.
Electrifying Eric still trying to get
I know
in
Mike
with two
Sanger
cheap
was one of
shots.
them.
We're talking
I
top
can't remember if
rope.
Terry
See?
Kosnapple did it or
He
not.
comes down.
Um,
We can talk to him about it when we see him.
Yeah, he did a lot of sports. I don't know if wrestling was one of them. I know I had a lot of other kids ask me if I've ever. I had kids ask me that I was somewhat friends with that were on the wrestling team ask me, "Hey, would you ever think about doing it?" They trying to recruit me into high school wrestling. But my problem with that is that this show consumed me. It took all my free time. I if I were to do school wrestling, I wouldn't be able to do this, and I couldn't do both. That goes for any other sport, for that matter. Because in running the show, it took so much time. So that's part of why I couldn't. I could never really do it. The other kids, though, they had more time in their hands, so they could. And it wasn't always wrestling. A lot of the other kids were involved in other sports. The Destructors, John Hoffman was in Golden Gloves boxing before he came on the show as wrestling.
Yeah.
A lot of Kelsey. Kelsey was into hockey, baseball. The Super D's were soccer big time, tennis as well. Ace was into tennis. Ace played hockey, major hockey player. Yeah, for the school hockey. I could go on and on with all the other sports some of these kids were involved in. Ryan is another one who's in hockey. He's got a hockey shirt on right now.
The outside Kid Kelsey, but Crusher Crossen has come back.
Oh, what do I do? I guess I'm not paying attention. I got a match here with Ref Ryan. This is one of those matches where I like to have a match with the Ref Ryan to help, kind of put the lightweights over a little more.
Yeah.
Plus, it's fun. It's fun to be in there with a littler guy, and you can do more moves like that.
We might see.
And Ryan, I tell you, Ref Ryan was kind of a bulldog. But Ref Ryan was. He really gave it 110%. I kind of wished he would have gotten the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I wish they all would have, though. Jeez, I could go on and on with everybody who didn't make it.
Oh, we haven't got the count yet. He's got the ropes.
Ryan Kelsey, not totally different than Matt, by the way. Matt Kelsey and Ryan, I mean, they're brothers, they're related, but totally different personalities. Not the same. Ryan was a middle brother. Matt was the oldest. Wade Kelsey, who wanted to be on the show so bad, was the youngest. But their dad just wouldn't let him because he was too young, a little too young. And Wade was a hell on wheels, man. If he would have come on the show, he would have been a different kind of Kelsey, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He would have been a heel for sure.
What are we going to see here? Body slam down. This could be it, folks. 1, 2, 3, and that's it, folks. Ring bell, ring bell. That is
Yeah,
all.
Crusher Crossen gets the win over Ref Ryan, but
Ref Ryan as Crusher Crossen.
this other match, though, I have on this show with the 4 of them, that's another situation.
As we hear the bell, Kid USA Kelsey
So,
working
yeah.
over on
Take that comment
electrifying
down.
Eric as we must, as the take interview with.
But as far as going into wrestling
Rough Ryan,
after
Mean
us,
Gene, and
after us, I don't know
the
of
new
any of
one,
them that did that.
Electrifying Eric, as you just got done with that match against Crusher Crossen.
There's mainly the ones that were already in it.
You lost. You got pinned in the middle of the ring. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not too happy about that, but the match is fair. Crusher played it fair. He's a tough contender, and I think I could take him on some other time and win.
Yes, electrifying, come here, please. You are new to the wrestling NWF. You and your hat do a pretty good job trying to interfere with Crusher Crossen.
Right across the face, and he should be disqualified with the chains in there. Pete Chelsea and this rock slam.
Yes, but
Yo, those Robbie and whatever those punks' name are. they
Mean
stole my
Dean there,
time.
folks.
I
That's
can't
Ace Andrew Carlson's younger brother right there. Mean Dean.
He's taking over my place for a little while until my toe gets all better.
you were also
One talking.
interfering. How can you possibly say that he was interfering? Because he was trying to get you from not interfering.
Okay, so he had the chain, and he started out with Ryan here. And I had to interfere. He was hitting him with the chain, and I saw Kid Kelsey give him that unidentified flying object or something like that, whatever. And he hit him right across the face. Then at the end, he come up and slammed me right in the eye and threw me out of the ring. Oh, I'm going to get a match, dude.
Crusher Crossen, or whatever his name is, should have been disqualified for choking me with that chain. He should have.
All of a sudden, I played it fair, but now all of a sudden I should have been disqualified.
Who broke your toe anyway, Mean Dean?
Hey guys, just go cry to your mommies. I'm sorry.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Mean Dean, who
Just
broke
give him a
your...
little heat
Oh.
there.
Well, those ones, I don't know what their stupid names are. Probably just some little punks that came along. Killer
And Crusher,
Cannibal,
check
those
the
guys.
private chat.
I'm gonna get them, and that's it.
And you too, Crusher. Oh, I bet you he's shaking his boots. He should be better.
He's better.
As we hear some mixed words.
Yeah, I knew he was coming.
Me,
I just didn't know
Steve,
when.
and I, when he heals, we're gonna take
Pennsylvania, I think.
us two want to stand at those two new kids or whatever in a tag team match for the belts, and we'll defend them.
We have the belt already, and they're not taking it away from us.
Sorry, but we are out of time. Here we are, back, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
these were fun days in the
for
garage,
our
guys.
next
They were fun
exciting
times.
match.
Complete control, complete freedom in there. We didn't have Scott Tronson running down our necks.
Energy Erickson.
Like we had to
Exactly.
deal with in the Group W studio.
Accompanied by Michael Madness. And now entering the ring.
Energy Erickson.
the
It's another
world's-
one and done, Dave.
the
Lots of
NWF
one and dones in this
champion,
era.
Ace.
And there's
As
Ace,
he comes in
the champion of the NWF at the
left,
time.
tries to
A
maintain
nice
some
blue belt.
control. Ace
Yep.
goes back in and
Fans
Michael
love
Madness
shouting, or the kids when they're in the crowd love shouting, "Ace is a waste. Ace is a waste." You'll hear that chant a lot.
Total chaos is broken out here as the ref trying to maintain some control.
Bella Bond, this is uncalled for. What's Madness Michael doing in the ring? He shouldn't even be in there.
I couldn't agree with you more, Crusher Crossen. As we hear the bell,
That famous, we have to call security.
Energy Air.
We heard that a lot in these days. Let's
as
get
we hear
security.
The official bell from Crusher Crossen.
I tell you though, this match ought to be one darn well match because these guys have been at. This Bobby comes from the Florida State
Bobby
Wrestling,
Erickson,
I believe,
yeah.
and he is knows what he's doing when it comes to these kind of things. And Ace, of course, been an NWF champion. I think we've got a really good match here. We might even see
Oh,
him
the
champion.
turnbuckle come off.
I very much doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see one.
Andrew's trying to get that.
But,
Turnbuckle the Thunder comes over
This is
there
going to
and
be a good match, I can tell
get
you
the,
that.
put it back on the turnpipe and the corner pipe
As-
there.
Energy Erickson here
Exactly.
and Ace lock up. Looks like an arm bar from Ace. As they break.
An arm bar, and that was more than an arm bar because he did a little infection. Had some infection on the
Oh yeah,
ligaments in the elbow. I know what it feels
Andrew.
like.
He was really
Hi-
he was
how do
really
you
coming
feel
into the
about
Ace.
that match?
Ace
Come up
really
with
kind of came into
champion
full
Ace?
fruition
Tell
at
you,
this
I've never
time,
been
Dave,
so
as his
excited. I know
character.
the Twin Cities are on their feet just about
He
right
would-
now, just waiting
he
for
would
it.
end up
Everybody's sweating
losing
to
the
death.
belt
Just wait to see
here
this kind of match.
in another
Because
month
this
or two to
guy's
Kid
gonna go
Kelsey.
down. I've been training at Carpy
And
Sport. I've
then-
been training at the
And Andrew
old
just
gym.
told
I've
me
been
off the
training
side.
at-
He says, "You know, Sean, I want to I want to take a break from the NWF for a little bit.
You can train, and I tell you, I am ready for this
He said,
match,
well, you know,
boys.
you're always
He's
welcome
never
back.
gonna
And
be
he says,
ready.
yep, I know. I
he's
just
not
got
ready 'cause
other things coming up. I think
saw
hockey
we
was
were
season was
wrestling, I
starting,
seen
and
him
he
in
just
a
wanted to
bar drinking
just take a
beer.
break.
He's really training, isn't he? That just goes to show you.
But we always wished he would have come back, and he never did.
Energy Erickson keeps
And we
doing
talked
what he's
about
been
to
doing.
Andrew about
You
that
might
when he was a
not
guest
get
with us
chance
last
to
year.
get the belt from
Yeah.
Yep.
Ace.
I tell you, I'll still get Bobby because he's one of my main men.
Crusher, I do have to step away for just a second,
Sure.
but I will be right back.
Yep, I'll just hold the
Who is
fort
wrestling
down.
first? You or Kid Kelsey?
Yeah, feel free to ask
Making
questions,
sense
you
right now,
guys.
Bill, but I just wanna
We're always
talk
here to
about
answer them.
is the National
Anything you
Wrestling
can
Tag
think
Team
of.
Champions who have arrived.
One of those
We
butchers
and
in the
Kelsey are
corner of,
World Tag Team
of Andrew there,
champions,
Ace,
but it
kind of
appears we got the National Wrestling
holding the world
champions in
title for him,
studios
just being a
today.
second, I
And
guess you could
tell
say.
ya, they may be national, but we're world, and we will dominate.
As the famous song goes, we are the world. Little interference there from Kid Kelsey, but back comes Ace and Crusher crossing.
Damian Thorne, very
Tunnel
interesting
Madness
question.
Right here, folks, is broken out. Crusher crossing, trying to interfere.
I have never heard a
Ace
curse
just
word
totally
while watching
got
these
it.
videos. Did you have problems with some
The
wrestlers
ref
using
trying to
appropriate language? Yes, we
maintain
did.
some kind of-
Myself, probably the biggest violator
Some
of that.
kind of
I remember on show 38, I don't know
Some
if we
kind of
watched it, but I
control
think we
here.
did. But
Ace.
my bottom lip got split open
Second
because
guy to hold
I had a
punch it
Boston
down.
Crab move on
3
Merciless Mike, and Roughhouse Roberts jumped on my back, and I went face first into the mat.
Oh, look at
Put
this.
my tooth right
Everyone's
through my lip. It
working
was
on everyone
horrible.
here.
Blood everywhere.
Crusher against Energy.
One of those injuries that happen that
Erickson and
I can count in one
Vegas
hand.
Mike against
This is an accident.
Ace against-
No, he didn't mean it.
And you got
But for the
electrifying here
promo
coming
of
in,
this,
trying
when
to
I was
work out
done, I did an
as he's
interview.
doing-
And I was a little serious too, because I was mad. And I remember I said something along the lines of, I'm going to get a match with Roberts next week. My lips open. Now I can't wrestle anymore. I'm pissed. I said pissed. And Scott Tronson said, whoa, you can't say that. He suspended us for 2 weeks off the air for me saying this. So, yeah, and some of the guys, it would happen. If it did, generally we would beep it out.
Yeah.
Or we just edit it out. Sometimes if you ever hear the audio go silent, that's usually because somebody said something inappropriate.
We have
So yeah, it did happen here and there, but it was never intentional. It was always a mistake. It was slip up, right?
Jumpin' Johnson. How do you feel about that match?
Well, he always thinks he's such a hot rod. He'll find out what I'm made of when I get in there.
May I ask what you are made of? What are you made of? Chains?
Muscle, that's what it is, muscle.
The reason we called him Bulldog Butcher from Russia is because of the look.
I will get my revenge.
Oh, yeah.
Crew cut.
Last week,
He looks like he's from Russia,
after I
doesn't he?
got thrown out, that I will get at him, and I will.
Yes, he
But
does.
I thought Jumpin' Johnson has made the challenge to you.
He has, but I will still get my revenge.
Looks like we're out of time, folks.
Sports video. You can see where the NWF followed many of the storylines of TV wrestling at the time.
As
Yeah,
we're
yeah, we did.
there, ladies and gentlemen, with our
What we
next
were watching,
exciting
you guys, in Minnesota, we were obviously
match,
watching
the
the AWA.
Bulldog Butcher.
They were based in
His
Minnesota.
opponent
But
from
more of the
parts
kids
unknown.
at this point in time have now switched to the WWF because WWF's popularity at that time was really kicked off. WrestleMania just happened,
I'm so excited myself.
and so the whole Hulk Hogan and the WWF, a lot of the kids who were fans of him in the AWA just followed him to the WWF.
This guy's so dumb. And
Um,
this Johnson boy, he's one
And then those of us who were really like Dave and Kelsey,
shocked as it is. We just got done seeing just parts of the action.
NWA was a
Looking at
big
the
thing
monitor
to
here,
follow.
as you can see
Whether it
the
was
butcher.
WCCW in
One
Texas
good wrestler.
or Crockett stuff
Yep.
on WCC or WCW.
Needs an attitude
Once we
adjustment.
had cable television, we could
Yes,
see all
he will
this.
be one of the upcoming contenders.
So, and we would
Well, even
Butcher
even
Bulldog
after
now
that,
working on Jumpin' Johnson.
with the UHF stations.
Yeah,
23.
23. Yep,
From Jumpin' Johnson.
Channel 23.
I can remember watching UWF,
Jumpin'
NWA.
Johnson.
I would watch anything that was wrestling. I remember watching the Financial News Network out of all things, seeing something from Southern California.
Against the ropes.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, and I
that
wanna
was I
qualify
never
as
I didn't remember the
must've been
league,
a
but it
lot of
was
course,
like
and that
wasn't
because Chuck
AWA, it
Johnson
was some
went down
some other
south.
league over there,
This match, I mean, he just got. Did he just get a body slam?
and that was on the
Did he body
Financial
slam the
News
Butcher?
Network out of
I
all
don't think so. It
channels.
looked to me like Mike.
But yeah, we really did, and we would take things that we've seen in wrestling, and we would either modify them or
This has
somehow at
been
times
a
outright
very
do the same
long-awaited
angle
match for both these
with our
because
characters.
last week when
Most of the time, we
Battle
kind
Royal
of
came
twisted
on,
it a little bit,
and Chuck
modified it.
Johnson now working on the ref, but coming back
Well, I mean,
as we were some
I hate
changes
to
for
keep
the
going
body
back to it,
slam.
but we were the first company to come up with the idea of
Over
a
the turnbuckles again.
show
As
entirely
Butcher
done with steel
Bulldog
cages.
works on
Yeah,
serious
we thought of it. I mean, we wanted to do it. Once again, me
Yeah.
biting off more than I can
Body
chew, not
slam,
realizing
but
how
it
damn
looked
expensive
effective to
fence
me.
paneling is.
You know, we
That's
were
the only
the
thing
first
that
company.
held us back
Now
on that
in
day was the
control of
expense.
match from Russia.
Yeah, we were the only
He's taking on
only
jumping-
company
we have a little
at
choke
the
here
time that was doing
as the ref is being worked on by
multi-team
Dr.
feuds.
B, who is Chad's. Oh no, chains! He is
Multi-team
strangling him.
feuds.
This
You know,
guy
the family
Jones has
feuds
gone
that
out of control
would happen.
here.
Oh, you're talking about the Survivor
Jumping
Series
jacks
style
work
match.
Yep.
the
Yeah, we did
chains
it in
around him.
Show 25, which we don't have on tape, unfortunately. That's one of those ones that got recorded over by the cable studio by mistake.
As
But it did air.
disqualification
It
as
aired as a test show. I had him. Back in the day, I knew the guy who ran Master Control at Group W. So when we would tape a show on a Saturday morning, I'd get home and I'd say, hey, I call up, his name was Jim Payne. I said, Jim, can you put on the show for me? I want to see how it looks. And I have him air the show unscheduled.
persons in that match, Jumping Johnson.
I just got to know all the guys so I could do that kind of stuff.
Let me tell you something,
Yep.
boy.
That worked at the
Did you
cable
see the way
company.
I just totally mutilated the butcher, so-called. Butcher
You know, that's
Bulldog
another
gave me a
place I
break.
was thinking we should
Butcher
go to
Bullfrog. The guy's
snap a
got
photo.
hope. Yeah, you see these chains, man?
Oh, the old
Damn,
cable
so good.
place?
You know
Yep.
what? I'm
Group
real
W?
happy.
I mean, I know it's not Group W there
A
anymore,
TNT
but
partner, come on in here. And Dr. B, look at the size of this dude. Just take the looks of this kid right
you know,
here. And the size and power of that dude. You
I
just
wish
try and
Brett
stop
would have
us.
stuck around,
We
Dave. He
are
could have done stuff with him.
NWA. No. The National
there's a lot of people
Tag
that they
Team
would have
Champ
stuck around we
right
could have
here.
done stuff with.
You hurt me! Give me that chain! You hurt me!
And then they go after Butcher. They just Pearl Harbor him, Dave.
Look out here, folks.
We take anybody! Come on! We won't take you! We didn't get those belts wrestling wimps like you were losing! Come on!
Sorry, but we're on
Fired up Dr. B there.
Total Chaos.
Well, that's just a
folks.
fun time at the
Sorry,
garage.
that's
Can't stress
that's
it
all we have
enough.
time for, folks.
And all I'm going to say is he may have a variation with the national tag title.
Well, that was actually just the TWF tag team belts. We were using them for the national tag team belts.
Yep.
It wasn't the original like you got.
One man.
But I have the national tag team title.
Yeah.
Crusher. Crossen. Take it away, Ace.
One of
The,
two
uh,
people that have that
The
belt.
belt
in
that
possession
he was
right now.
holding, if I can get out of the way, move the wrong way. See that belt right there? That one right there on the bottom?
Yep.
That's the belt he was holding. It was the TWF tag team belt. One of their first tag team belts we made. That was not tinfoil. So yeah, Crusher Crossen against the Munices and the Balabons, man. I had my hands full. Now, what I wish we would have done here, guys, I wish we would have been more... I wish we would have thought this match out better and just made it more entertaining that way. Instead of just kind of, I don't know, shooting it, kind of going, shooting from the hip on this a little bit, I guess you could say.
Throwing hands to anywhere, just swinging at Crusher Crossen. I told him he didn't have a
I mean, I
chance
should have had
at
him do a
this
double
match,
body
but
slam. I could have done
the
all
way
sorts
he
of things
does
with these kids. If I just would have planned it out better.
You see, Madness Michael yelling at Crusher Crossen.
It's that 2020 hindsight vision, Dave. It's always perfectly crystal clear. 40 years later.
The ref is knocked out.
Yep.
Everybody is in except
By the way, that
for
Adidas
one
shirt
of
I'm
your
wearing, I have
misses.
that shirt still. I was looking for that half shirt.
Now it looks like
I
he's
do have
the
that
only one.
shirt that I'm
Okay,
wearing. I have that
now
black
Bubba
Adidas
starts
shirt that I
working
used to
on
wear
him.
in the Group W
And,
studios.
Crusher, he comes back with a
I have my blue ring jacket. The silk one, the one I used later.
Yep.
And obviously the wrestling singlet and the tights I still have, but I cannot find the half shirt.
Oh, body slam! Oh my god!
Well, maybe you can look for it soon.
Well, I've tried. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, maybe. Just gotta find that thing though.
Fits to the head of Treasure Crossen. Oh, and a headbutt too.
You never know. Maybe it's locked away in a storage area somewhere.
Could be.
Oh, he throws one of the
The Bunuses and the Balabons. I don't know. The only reason I did these handicap matches is Hulk Hogan would always. I was such a Hulk Hogan mark. And Hogan would do handicap matches in the AWA, and I thought, well, I'm going to do them too. Only this time I picked 4. I don't think there's ever been anybody, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but has anybody ever took on 4 people in a handicap match?
Not that I can think of.
That's
No,
crazy.
honestly.
I can't think of anybody either. Any match I've ever seen.
Hits him, tries to put him out of the ring. Oh,
You know, Crusher Crossen biting off whatever he can.
Crusher Crossen. He still gets up. Oh, what is this? What's he gonna do? What is it? What is this?
They were trying to do like a double atomic drop, but they didn't quite get it over.
Throwing him up, picking him up and throwing him down. Exactly what they
I notice
did.
Kelsey's the referee here. Wonder if that's gonna play any favorites with me.
Now they take off and 2 different people are in.
Like they just said, we'll see what happens.
Laying on the Balabon.
You just think though, you're a kid.
Elbow to
The show was on the news. Everybody's buzzing about it still. We got this place they can come to where there's a ring set up and they can have matches. And man, talk about having a fun time as a kid. It's in the summer right now, in June, so we're out of school.
Well, you know, I've always said, Crusher, even though I'm 50 years old now, you're a year or 2 older than I am.
I have a surprise for him.
If I were to win the lottery
I don't know what our match is.
tomorrow night,
Doesn't matter. That's all I'm giving as a
once I
hint.
got my ideal home,
Boy, but when I step in that ring.
I'd build a shed, and I'd just put up a
When?
ring in the shed.
When?
I'd
That big
probably
pole
go to High
barn?
Spots. Yep.
Bunis beef cake.
I go to High Spots, order a ring, and
I am. Now,
Yeah.
here's. What's your name? Well, now here's another wrestler.
you know,
And this is the best match I've ever seen. So chaos, man.
that way then, if we had get-togethers, we'd actually have a spot to do it.
Close line on.
Yeah.
Reverses it. He steps on both of them.
Yeah, these garage shows, fun times. Wrestling's not polished yet, guys. I get it, but
Now Crusher's going
it was fun. It was really fun. We were able to. We needed this growing period. You know, the out from under Scott Tronson's wrath and the confinements of the Group W cable makeshift ring into a little more functional ring.
and a flying jump.
At least rope wise, we could hit the ropes.
And it's the claw by Bunis.
So this kind of something happened with our audio. Got really super quiet. I'll try to fix this up when I do the restoring of this.
Bunis are coming in. They're beating up on the Crusher.
Should be able to get it a lot better than it is.
Chaos. The Crusher
Kelsey's out. I see.
is on the floor. He's getting up. He's getting up.
Yeah, it's hard when you got 4 little kids that we don't all understand the art of wrestling yet, and
Brothers are
you're in a handicap match with them, and they're just all over the place. And so it's I'm just using I'm just taking Eric and just swinging him at everybody, using him as like a battering ram, I guess.
at the Bunis. It's
Ah.
the rest starting to punch the wrestler.
And Kelsey's getting tired of it.
Yeah.
They're beating up on Crusher.
That's the thing about Kelsey. When he's had enough of the littler kids, he's had enough.
Yeah.
Crusher's
That's the 2 Bunis brothers now that have me in the ring. Double axe.
isn't gonna disqualify.
But you know, sometimes there's a time where you bite off more than you can chew, and
Got him. One,
there's no way you can't always win.
three,
So
and
I let the kids
one.
win.
This
The younger
third,
kids.
Beating up on the ref. Beating up on the ref. Crusher. He's
Well,
not
you know, you got to
going
put
up.
over some of the lightweights once in a while.
Yep. I mean, come on. There's 4 against 1. Reality is they probably have the
It's
advantage.
still be-
Another interview, folks.
Exactly.
We have the tag team of the Unices.
Yeah.
Crusher, Crossen. I think the Unices and the Belmonts both think you're wimps. Total wimps. What do you have to say, brother? Hey, I
These
think
guys are
you-
brothers.
You heard me and seen me. 1, 2, 3, right there. And you didn't say I pinned you. You lied. Yeah, Crusher. You think you're so hot? I want a match against you next week. And I'll help him.
You know, not to toot my own horn, but these gotta understand these lightweights, like these guys, they were fans of watching the NWF
Will be coming up
before they came on it, so they were used to seeing me.
Here we are with
So they were, you know.
folks.
So yeah, for a match like that, for them to have a handicap match, they loved it.
Yeah, this is Cowboy Taylor. USA.
Here's Steve Engstrom,
I'm gonna
Pretty Boy
beat
Taylor.
you so bad, you ain't never gonna
A
show
debut.
me the NWF again.
There we have the words of Pretty Boy Cowboy.
Oh no, he debuted the show before. I take that back.
We have one of the main events on this double main event card. We have the NWF Heavyweight Championship match between 3-time champion and now part of the 6-man tag team champion and one half of the tag team champions. He is Crusher Crossen. Tell Johnny Day Gacy he's not going to be living because I'm going to get that belt for the 4th time. And now, introducing the NWF Heavyweight Champion of the World, he is Ace. Ace. No Ace. Where is he?
Kelsey new in the ring announcing.
All right, we just got word that the Ace is not going to be here. So next week, what do you mean he's going to be here? I got the matches on the... hell is going on?
Oh, there goes one of those flip-ups.
Huh? The USA blimp, I want him in here, and I want him in here.
I'm even going after Kelsey. I'm so mad.
All right, send him in. Come on, where is he? Where is he? Give me the tape.
Ace left the building. It's all an angle, you guys.
The auditorium.
He's building it up for the next week.
The match will be next week. So instead, somebody want to take this?
Because now Kelsey's got to take on Pretty Boy Taylor. Yeah, he can have his hands full there.
The start to a long-running feud.
Yeah. While we're waiting for this, King Coop, we commented earlier, that was a pretty decent match. I mean, everyone was all over the place, though, but this was still good. Yeah, but it's just kind of chaos, really. I'm telling you, these early garage shows,
Introducing
we weren't polished.
Kid,
We're still learning.
one
We're still
half
learning
of the
our way.
world
We're going from the Group W style
Kid,
to the Fredmore style, and we're in between.
Kelsey.
We're in between that right now.
His opponent,
Really.
he is
I mean, in all honesty, Fred Moore is where the growth really began.
Yeah, right before the Armory. You know, when we had the actual practice sessions. We did some practice sessions in the garage, too, though. I remember doing some in the garage. Me and Steve were holding them.
as
Cowboy Taylor.
steps
Let's see.
up
He
and
didn't. It wasn't
keep
Pretty Boy yet. I think it was just Cowboy. Or maybe it was Pretty
This
Boy.
should
But
be an awesome match, folks.
yeah. Damian
This
Thorne
is gonna be
says,
one
"I'm sure
very excellent
who
match
had
here for
more
you.
fun in this last match. You are the 4 younger wrestlers. I am sure you helped them make memories and lasted a lifetime." Yeah, yeah. I mean, not just the match, but the fact that they had the time to come on the show during this heyday period in the garage
Yeah.
definitely gave them lasting memories.
As you hear the bell, Kid USA Kelsey.
So Steve, you know,
Rodriguez does not want to
Steve
get in
was
the ring.
really, I've said it before, Dave. Steve's the reason we evolved wrestling wise.
As the top
He really
turnbuckle
brought
over
it
there
to another
gets
level.
little
Just
guy
watch him
hooked
in the ring here.
as Cowboy
And this
Taylor.
all rubs off on
Wow,
me
look
and
at
Kelsey at the
Kid
time and
USA
everybody.
screaming
You know,
in
we start
pain
seeing
as he
Steve,
into his
and we all want to,
hands.
you know,
Crusher
perform like
Crossen,
that.
boy.
at that
He
level
gets a
because
smash.
Steve was, Steve was older,
Yes, we
obviously,
have
so he
Jumpin'
could see it,
Johnson over there,
a little bit
and
better than I could at the
Findor
time
over
as
there.
far as
Johnson
perfecting the
B-Trans
wrestling.
right now
That
throws.
makes sense.
But pile driver comes up as Kid Kelsey has gone down fast.
So Steve,
Cowboy has maintained control.
he
of this match
definitely
all the
rubbed
way
off on
through.
us as far as wanting to get it better, to make it look better.
And as the chant USA starts coming up.
You know, that's the thing that I do have to say about Steve is he was always
Kid
wanting to see the
USA
product
Kelsey is
better and
down
better.
on the mat.
Yeah.
As a foot.
And I'm sure that's kind of why he got mixed up with Larry is,
Doing
Yep.
heavy damage to Kid
Larry
USA.
kind of, hoodwinked him into thinking this is the way to go, and Steve went
Oh,
along
look
with it. But
at
you know
that
what?
smash.
You have to reap what you sow, Dave. You make a decision like that, and you got to live with it.
Just
Yep.
working
Part of what you
all
did.
over Kid Kelsey. Ooh,
That's
and
part
a
of probably why
knee
Steve didn't get all the votes
to the
like he
side
should
of
have
Kid
got
Kelsey.
in the voting for the Hall of Fame,
Has control
because he
of
really
this
was
bar.
good. But
This Cowboy is Crusher
you know,
Cross
it's-
comes back up.
what can you say? It's the fans that decide, and they decided the way they did. So is what it is. You know. But as far as my personal thoughts on Steve Engstrom, I will say this. Some of my best matches were with that guy, and I cannot take nothing away from him for his in-ring abilities. He was really good in the ring.
Kid USA
really
now
good.
in control. From a little distraction from
And I can never take anything away from him when it comes to that. Whether he's in the Hall of Fame or not.
Well,
That was kind of a half slam.
one up against oh,
Brian Belmont said the same thing. I got him a half
chains.
one.
Oh no! The ref trying to get rid of the chains, but it's too late. And a devastating blow to the back neck. Oh,
Just look at how
this.
Steve
Crusher
sells.
just hooked the
I mean,
leg
this
of
this
Cowboy.
really, we
Pretty
seen
white
this. I
The ref
remember
trying to
seeing this and thinking,
maintain some control
this is
around
a better way to make it to
here.
go.
With those
You know,
three, it
to
would
do
be
matches.
very hard. What's
Just watching how
this?
Steve just
Oh,
sells
on-
everything.
On the chain, it looks like, folks.
You know,
Few
he's really
few
selling that his
feet
leg
on
is
the
hurt
leg
right now,
of
and just little
Pretty
things
Boy
like that
Taylor.
that we pick up on.
yep, little
Oh,
nuances.
to the
Yep.
back. Ooh, again to that leg, which they are working on.
You know, like,
Find a spot like that. Oh no!
And in this day, Dave, not to cut you off, but
Total
Steve
chaos
really
again,
wanted to see the
folks.
product get
Oh,
better.
that right leg
What we
of-
were doing get better. He was all about
chains
this.
on
I
the
can
back.
I can tell you that just because I
Cowboy
remember.
is getting now devastating.
But he also
blows
wanted
all
Larry
over
in
the
right
place.
around now. This is the time when he wanted to
Especially
bring
that
Luscious
right
Larry
leg.
in, so
That
he
right leg might be a little
he
sore
may have
again.
had these other alternative motives
Is the
going
ref
on as
trying
well.
again to maintain
Yeah.
some control, but
So I
that
don't know.
right
We'll
leg,
never know.
oh, I wouldn't want to be
You know,
his-
the
in
one
that
thing I
right
will
now,
say
in his place. As Kid Kelsey works
is,
on that leg.
you know, looking back on this
Oh
match,
no!
Yeah.
Cowboy has got the chains.
you know, Steve's trying
Oh, on the back, but
to feed Matt the
Kid
leg that
Kelsey's
he should be
coming
working
back.
on.
Crusher
Yeah.
Crossen
You know, that's how good
comes
Steve
in from the
was.
back. Oh no, the
Yeah.
rope has come loose here, folks. It is broke.
Yeah. Instinctive. Instinctive is the word. He was instinctive to it.
Oh, nice little trip there
Mhm.
by Kid USA. Kelsey.
And Kelsey is,
Cowboy.
look at Kelsey. Kelsey couldn't bump
Kid
like
USA
all of
still
us.
maintains
He
control
wasn't the
Right.
best bumper, but
for the Cowboy.
he knew you
Pretty
could
Boy
work a
Taylor
match with
as he
him
goes out of the
by
ring.
putting him over and selling because Kelsey knew how to work the match. He knew the match chemistry. And
That's
so
got 4 on him now.
that's why I don't think I've ever seen bad matches with Matt. He was really good, because he knew the chemistry of a match really well. He watched enough, believe me, Matt was probably the diehard of us all when it
Yeah,
came to the
count of
NWA
7
at
on
the
him, but
time.
Kid Kelsey in
Yeah.
a third, so that
He was
starts
really
the
into,
count
he
over.
loved the Four Horsemen. So he understood the chemistry side of things really well.
Count of 6. Count of 7.
And of course, Steve, he did too.
Cowboys.
Oh, we all
it's
had
not
very
over yet.
extensive
Acrobatics there.
wrestling libraries.
Oh yeah, we all
Kid Kelsey's
watched
still
it.
working on that. Now it's
I mean,
working on the,
it was so fun
left
to be a
leg.
fan in the 80s when the territory days were still
boy,
kind of
that
there.
leg is being
So you had
Oh, yeah, I
territories.
mean,
devastated.
you know, like when you and Troy were wrestling at George's,
Yep.
Cowboy. Oh
even
No
though
chance
I'd
in the
never seen
miniatures.
wrestle before, it was real cool because I'd seen
What are we gonna see here? Oh!
magazine articles about Beetlejuice and
Kid
Big
Kelsey
Juice
lays on
wrestling out in
that.
Portland.
Yeah.
Eye gouge there from.
And then
Yes,
when
we
Jeff
have
came
Jumping
back
Johnson
to
here.
the Twin Cities and was working for
Kid
Eddie,
Kelsey so calls himself
they brought
the
up that he
world
was Big
champion.
Juice, and I was like,
Can't
oh,
even
cool.
walk in the ring
Yeah.
right now. Look at him. Let me tell you something. We may not be the world champions, but national champions will suit us fine. Me, that is Jumping
We're trying to
Johnson,
fix the bottom
team
rope
with
there, I see.
Dr. B.
Got the
Brett
whole crew
Belshner.
involved trying to
We'll
stretch the
kick
ropes and
their
get it
butts any day, and we
tightened
want a
up
match,
there.
and we'll get it. World champion.
Yeah, this is where
Look at him
Steve and I,
right
the
now.
ring's still
He's
kind
on
of
the
small right
mat.
now, and Steve and I
Give
end
me
up
a
making
break.
this ring bigger.
The words of
We add
Jumping
another
Johnson
2 or 3
of
feet
their upcoming match
to this
against
thing each way
the
by the
team
next show, I
champions.
think.
Oh, but he misses.
So yeah, we make the ring bigger.
As
The ring
Cowboy
changed
Cowboy
sizes in the
Taylor
garage at
goes
least 2 or 3
down.
times. By the time we
And
left the garage, it
pressure
was
crossing
15
and
foot,
Kid USA
15 feet by
Kelsey
15 feet. That's how
work
big
on
it
the
was. Almost
Cowboy.
16 by 16.
Which is what I think a lot of
Thought we were gonna
companies
see
are
Boston
using
Crab there,
nowadays.
but
Yep.
not quite. Oh, look at this.
Also, the posts keep going in, and I remember one of the things we did to improve that, we got turnbuckles and cables
Kelsey
underneath
working on
crisscrossing to pull the posts
that leg
from the
of
bottom in.
Right.
Pretty boy
Eventually, we would
Cowboy
counter this
Taylor.
problem that we have here.
Uh-oh, pretty boy Taylor's coming back.
Initially, the posts
right
were
there.
anchor bolted to the concrete. My dad drilled anchor bolts for me
Oh!
into the concrete, and we actually had the
know what
posts
that was,
bolted
but
down to the
both of 'em are
concrete
down
floor.
and
There was
out.
like a steel plate on the bottom of the posts.
Yep.
But as we made the ring bigger, we had to get away from that.
Kid Kelsey now in control for the 5th time. About
See how that post, when he
Kelsey.
goes in there, just
Blubber
really,
Kelsey.
nothing was secured
Johnson.
underneath yet. So we end up fixing that.
Oh, out of the ring goes Cowboy. In comes Crossen, the Bulldogs over there, and Kid Kelsey.
You know, when we first went in the
Fantastic.
garage, we had wooden posts, and I got my dad to get me some steel posts from around. He worked at the Energy Center. He had a lot of piping down there, and he got me 4 steel posts. And that's what we have here.
Yeah, you can kind of see that far post is leaning inward.
There's blood.
I don't know
What
why I
is
gave
going on here,
Kelsey a
folks?
2x4.
I don't know what it is, but Cowboy has blood dripping from his forehead.
Now, Steve didn't juice, guys. This is fake blood. I want to put that out there right away.
Bell here. We need the bell. Ring the bell. Total Chaos is driving out of this match. Clear it, trying to clear it. The referee has. It's just total. Disqualification match.
Camera
here,
zoomed in a little
drawn.
too much.
Cowboy is out. It's total madness, folks. This has been total madness. Clear.
There we go. Zoom it out there, camera guy.
Bill. Total madness is broken out. Got to stop, folks. Oh, I'm telling you.
Taylor just doesn't want to let it end.
How do you feel about this match?
Well, I can remember times not wanting to leave the ring,
It's
but
just been it's yeah, this is just gone out of control. I guess I'm gonna have to get in there. And
Blood
clear
looks good, though. For being fake blood.
yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get everybody calm down. You try to get a bunch of kids in the ring, having almost a mini battle royal there, trying to get them to calm down. That's a whole other process. Ah, yes.
Well, it's a process just coming down after a show.
Yeah. I mean, it's just full of energy. Want to keep doing it.
You know, that's one thing that my mom used to comment to me. She'd be like, I see you in the ring taking all this stuff, But yet, you stub your toe and you get frustrated and
Yeah.
talk about how bad it hurts. And I just looked at her and I'm like, Mom, when you're in the ring, there's adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean,
You don't feel the stuff that hurts.
So Sports Talk 117, interesting question. He says, looking back, did any of the wrestlers from your company become famous? He's talking like being in politics, entertainment, or sports. And the answer is yes. The Super D's, Todd and Troy Dazowski, went on to become professional soccer players, and they are in the Milwaukee Wave Ring of Honor in that indoor soccer stadium. Both of them. They became very good soccer players. They wrestled in all three leagues. Wrestled. I got NWF in my mind. They played soccer in all three leagues. And when Troy Dazowski was a guest with us last year, he talked about this. Very interesting. But yeah, they went on to become professional soccer players and did it for many, 12, 15 years or so. So John Hoffman went on to Golden Gloves boxing and went to nationals, and I don't know how far he went in nationals, but he got to nationals in boxing, went on to become a professional boxer and promoter, and promoted boxing in the Metro for quite a while. Trained a lot of boxers too. Chris Barger, remember that he was in the NWF Hall of Fame as an announcer. Let me tell you a funny thing about Chris Barger. He told us back in the day when he was Chris Barger, back in his roadmap was all planned out. He said, I'm going to become super famous. I'm going to become a politician. And I'm going to run for president. I'm going to be elected president. It was his goal. He wanted to be president. And he swore that he would be elected. And then I think in his mind, he would be assassinated. Just the whole thing. You could see the future. Well, he never became into politics, but he became very famous public speaker for the corporate side in the corporate world. And he did lots of seminars and stuff. So obviously he was a good speaker, Dave. So that no shocker there. Who else am I forgetting here?
Well, I'm not sure what level it's at, but my old tag team partner, Rattlesnake Jake, Dominic Dumas, plays hockey over in Thailand.
Yep, he plays hockey over there. That's right. And I don't know how far. I don't know. It's like an adult league, but he's in it. And he plays still to this day. Hockey was his second love, if not his first. Even back in the NWF days. Let's see. I know there's more though. I don't know. That's just what comes to mind. The Super D's for sure.
And to this day, I'm still going to say it. I think Slick Steenerson could have gone all the way.
Oh yeah, Steenerson had so much potential. He was the complete package. He had the size. He had the size factor that I didn't have. So little guys were not a thing yet. So I was just too small, really. And but Troy wasn't. Troy could have went on. What happened with Troy is what happens to a lot of us. You meet a girl, and you go head over heels, and life changes, and that's what happened with Troy. Yep. So, is what it is. But Troy wanted to start up again. I remember running into, Troy and I stayed in touch quite a long time after the NWF, and I'd come back home from Wisconsin. We'd go out for some drinks. Angie let him leave. They had a little kid at the time, and she's like, "Yeah, you can go out and have some." She knew how much Troy wanted to hang out with me when I was in town. And Troy and I would talk, and Troy would try to talk me into. He's like, "Let's start up a league again. Let's start wrestling up. Let's do it. Let's make our own independent. We can be the next WWF. We could be the next Vince McMahon." Troy had these big, huge ambitions. But at the time, I was in a different spot. I'm in Wisconsin. I have a job. It's just like I can't. It's so hard for me to just do that, And I had a career going, And I tried to tell Troy this, but there was a time though, Troy. We even got schematics drawn up. We were going to build a ring because he couldn't order them, so we knew how a ring went. Our breakdown ring worked because we had one. We put it together so many times, so it was in our memory. So we're going to have somebody fabricate the steel. We're going to build the ring. Became darn close actually to doing it, but yeah, that was no. You're right though. Troy could have went on.
Oh yeah, no doubt in my mind, Slick could have done it.
He's not the only one. Terry Block,
Yep.
guy, but man, he was. If you look at just sheer talent, Terry Block's up there. He was good.
If you would have been able to stick with it, Jamie
McParland. I could go on and on. But yeah, I mean, but Jamie got into other things. He got into BMXing and got really good at that.
Yep.
You know, and I think Jamie was sponsored for BMXing when he did that. So not super famous, but again, somewhat famous for the BMX world there, locally at least. And Jamie was good, man. I remember seeing some of the on Facebook. He posts some of his BMX pictures. He did some pretty wild stuff with the BMX bike back then. It's not a shocker. Jamie's an overachiever, so it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, good questions, you guys. And I just want to remind everybody again, for those of you that maybe tuned in late.
In 2 weeks, special guest.
Yes. In 2 weeks, we're going to have Subforce Arnie, UK's wrestling sensation. That's what I'm calling him. This is Kids Pro Wrestling in the modern day era, folks. And you're going to see Subforce Arnie. We're going to talk to him. I'm hoping you guys all join us and have some questions for him. All these questions he asked us, I'm curious, what he would have to say on some of these. Dave and I will have questions as well. And I hope to spend some time with Arnie, maybe 30 some minutes or so before we get into our watch along. And show you some of what he's been doing, what he's all about. And that'll be a lot of fun, guys, to see Kids Pro Wrestling today. Right?
Yep.
And that's really what that is. And also, we announced it at our show, the NWF Wrestling's Video Network Premium is coming to Vimeo OTT via our website. This is basically the replacement for Pivot Share, only it's going to be a lot better quality. We're hoping to launch this June 1st. We'll have more on this as we get on with our next few shows. But
it's going to be better quality video than what we can play on here.
Oh, yeah. And NWF Rewind will premiere every new episode, because every 2 weeks, a new show is going to be added to this network until we get through our whole catalog. And we're going to premiere those shows on NWF Rewind and just in a little bit lower resolution, just because of the restraints of the live stream. But yeah, so everybody, you can and remember, when you subscribe to this network service, besides me giving away a T-shirt, we're going to do a T-shirt giveaway for those who do the year subscription, but it's going to be at a low price, and it's just a way for you if you want to help support us. It helps support the costs of the website, the costs of the plaques for the Hall of Fame, the costs of the streaming software we use, and everything. So it's kind of I'm not the kind of guy, as you guys know, to ask you for donations and give you nothing in return. I want to give you something in return, which is what this
The only
network.
thing we ask you for is your support.
Yep, support, and you'll have something that you'll have for helping us out. So that's what that's all about.
And hey, say you get the year-long subscription, you get the free T-shirt. You can wear it out and about and tell others about our show.
And I don't know, Dave, what shirt would you pick? This is a pretty damn cool shirt, this Hall of Fame shirt. I like this one.
I'm kind of leaning that direction.
What's that?
I'm kind of leaning that direction. Let me think. Right now, I think I've got 3 NWF shirts.
The other shirt I love, and I know you know this, that logo shirt of the just the white outline of our logo, kind of a rustic look. I love that one too. There's so many cool shirts. But
I
I
like the distressed one.
yeah, the distressed one, the one that's I got there in the back wall there. Get out of the way, that one in
Yep.
the middle. You know, but that's just it. I thought at first I'll just do an NWF Rewind shirt. I thought, nah, let's let them pick a shirt. You know, they subscribe to the video network, let them pick whatever they want as a shirt. So yeah. So that's
And
what
you
we'll do.
never know. With the crazy mind of Crusher Crossen, he may come up with a video network shirt.
You know, I thought of it. It's funny you bring that up. I actually thought of it. But and I don't know.
I don't know you at all, do I, Crusher?
Let's get caught up on a few comments. Gizmo says, this was a great show. It showed more of the beginning of the NWF. It is strange seeing the wrestlers looking so young as compared to some of the later videos. Some of them grew up on the wrestling show. Yeah, they did actually.
Yeah.
You're right. And it is. It's never thought of it that way. But yeah, I've seen them kind of grow into it because they're so young. Like Rough Ryan, for example. You see him in these earlier days, and then you see him in '86, and you can see how much he's grown. Yeah.
Tough Tony,
Yeah, Tough Tony when he started out, and
the Super D's.
Super D's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
You see the initial videos of them just diving out of the ring.
Oh gosh. That's like when we had Troy Dazowski, he came on with us as a guest last year. And I talked to them about how fearless they were. Because, on their very first show they're on, they get thrown out of the ring, and Troy or Todd, I don't know which one it was, just dives out like he's diving into a swimming pool onto the concrete floor in the Group W cable studio. Kelsey bursts out laughing like he always does when something like that happens. And everybody, even Brian Peterson, was trying to keep character. He's like, my guys can take it, but he's laughing, trying not to laugh. Because as kids, we see that, we think, my gosh, what are you, nuts? And so it's funny. But
you see it and think, what are you, nuts? And then we try to one-up each other.
Yeah. But the Dazowskis went on to do that show after show after show. They had no fear. They were fearless. Yeah, they were really fearless. And later they became so good because they wanted the Dazowskis, if you got to ever know them, are just talk about overachievers, professional soccer players. I mean, they wanted to be good. So, for young kids that were maybe 10 or 11 years old doing double drop kicks and stuff like that, they got pretty damn good. Let's see, what do we got here? Well, King Coop says he can't wait for Arnie to join us next show. I can't either. That's going to be in 2 weeks, guys. You see the thing up above us, advertising. Subforce Arnie, absolutely. Dave, so why am I so excited about Subforce Arnie? Because, like I said it earlier, and Dave knows this, because Dave probably feels the same. I see a lot of myself in him. And I know the fire that's in him right now at that age, wanting to be in that ring, doing your thing. And Dave, you know this.
Oh, yeah. And I know another thing about you. There's hope in your mind that possibly what inspired him is he might have seen what we were doing back in the day.
Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds good. But look, even if he didn't, the fact that he is doing what he loved means more to me than anything. Because we were like that too back in the day. Look, I don't know if that's the case, Dave. I think I would have heard that already by now. I don't know if that's the case, but it doesn't matter. It would be cool if that was, maybe you got the book or something. But look, our other guest, Wrestling Revolution Keaton, has already said that, we inspire him to keep going. So we've already heard that from him.
And, here's the thing for me. As I've told my own kids, the only thing that ever limits a person is what they limit themselves to.
Yeah.
And I love seeing people like Subforce Arnie just throw the rule book out the window and say, hey, I'm going for this.
Yeah. And that's just it. If it's one thing I want Subforce, you know what? Yeah, that would be cool. You're right, Dave, if that's the case, but it doesn't matter. What matters to me is that he's doing what he loves.
Exactly.
And he's performing, and people are entertained by it just like they were with us. That's the main giveaway, takeaway from all of this. Right?
That's the thing with wrestling for me, is it was never about, oh, I'm going to get into this and I'm going to make a ton of money.
Right. None of us were doing it for the money. Believe me.
We were doing it because it was what was in our hearts. It's what we were passionate about.
We just loved it. We wanted to be in there as much as we could. It didn't matter. I would have worked when I first met Eddie Sharkey and we did our dual event. If he would have asked me to do other things with him for free, I would have done it in a heartbeat.
As long as you got the video rights.
I didn't even care if I got that. I just loved wrestling so much back then that I wanted to do it all the time at any opportunity. And I didn't care if I was paid. At that age.
It was the first chance for an NWF wrestler to work on the same show as a future WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But, back to Subforce. So I'm excited for him in his future. He's got the whole, Dave, he's where we were 40 years ago. He's got the whole future in front of him.
I'd love to talk to Subforce Arnie in 10 years and see where he's at.
Right. See if he keeps going with it. Everybody goes different directions in life. Who knows? But he needs to understand this, and we're going to talk to him about this. The sky's the limit. He can go as far as he wants, and if he's good enough and he has the drive and energy and behind him and that determination in his gut that I know he has right now, look, he's just going to go far places, in my opinion. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll talk to him. It very much relates to us because what we did back in the day. Now, we're two different styles. We're old school. He's the new modern era. We had to learn the ropes. He might be, kind of getting maybe coached and guided along the way. Different situations a little bit. But the bottom line is this. They're in the ring with each other, having matches, entertaining the fans. The end result is the same. So it's going to be cool to talk to him. I'm really looking forward to it.
Exactly. I mean, it's good to see somebody following their dream.
Exactly. That's the whole reason I wrote my book, was for that, to give kids that spark to do it. Not just, it could have been anything, but wrestling, whatever. King Coop says this whole thing has been good. Also can't wait for the NWF Premium Network to launch. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Like I said, we just wanted to kind of give that pivot share option again, really, that we had before.
Let you guys watch shows at your own rate.
Yep. Pivot share, and I imagine the NWF Video Network Premium is going to be the same. This isn't going to be we're going to retire on the proceeds by any means. But just like Pivot Share, hopefully there'll be enough little bit of residual income to pay for like the website, the streaming software, those kind of things, the plaques, and all the expense involved. Guys, you don't even know what I've spent on restoration, whether it's equipment, software, a time-based corrector, the best VCR you can get, an AG 1980 Panasonic. It's the best deck you can get for doing that. I spent a small fortune on this stuff because I want it to be the best when we recapture everything. So, and that's just the hardware. And then there's the software expense. And it's a lot, but it's going to be worth it, you guys. You've seen what the footage looks like. And for those who missed it, I'll roll it again quick. This is what we're talking about. These are new intros. This actually looks a little bit better quality there, but no, this is the new one. This is all restored footage, everybody. Recaptured, recalibrated, cleaned up, whatever you want to call it. We have to change the music around. We can't use freeze frame. Vimeo won't allow copyrighted music either, so we got to be very careful with that. But when I redo an intro, I redo it the way it was done. Now this one was a little more trickier because that little stepping process is not what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to look like the NWF was coming down and up. So now when I redo the intro, I have the chance to make that happen. So I can fix it a little bit. Again, look at the quality here. It's rough. It's grainy. This is the old. Now you're going to see the new. Similar music. And all cleaned up footage. And another thing with this footage, you guys, it's 60 frames. The original stuff was 29.97. This is 59 point whatever. This is double the frame rate. What does that mean? That means the action shots are going to be smoother. Fast-paced action is going to be much more smoother than it ever was. Watch just as we're running around, hitting the rope, all of that movement. It flows better. Shot the mic right here, getting a pretty good goose egg. Got a little goose bump on his head from that. Peterson didn't lay it. Peterson hit you with the damn chair. That's the thing with Brian. He didn't go light on that chair.
Yeah, he didn't pull anything.
Speaking of the Super D's, there's one of them right there. Yeah, I had to pick a song close to Rocky's Overtune.
Pressure Crossen is a pretty good
now
wrestler. But I still think I can beat him.
This
Thank you.
audio's
Okay,
restored.
now we're waiting the arrival of
And I had
Pressure
to
Crossen in
remove
the
Eye of the
ring.
Tiger and keep the talking.
Okay.
So right now, normally Eye of the Tiger would be playing.
And I think you can hear his music now.
So this is, again, new technology that allows us to do
Pressure
that.
Crossen. The guy who's... Okay, Sean, first of all, you're wrestling handy.
Yeah.
Right now. Well, it's just
Pretty cool stuff, huh, Dave?
Let me tell you. It's just the
Oh, yeah.
I'm just looking forward to it. Just seeing that in the new light like that. Nice, cleaned up, quality looking stuff. Now, let me put the disclaimer on this, though, again. Part of the problem with doing this with old VHS footage is sometimes you get AI artifacting. It's going to be on the longer, wider shots, faces. It's trying to correct faces, and sometimes it gets confused, and you get just kind of garbledy, sometimes alien-looking faces. But it's very, it's usually in the wider shots. So it's harder to see. You don't really, unless you look for it, you don't pick up on it. That's part of what we're going to deal with a little bit now and then. Just FYI.
Yep.
It kind of goes with the territory of this. But I think the payoff is worth it because it'll be cleaned up. It'll be restored. It's going to sound better. And not only that, I didn't even mention this, I'm color correcting. So I'm white balance correcting as well. Like some of these shows like we watched today, you can see there's like a more of a kind of a reddish tint. I'll get rid of that. When I white balance correct, that puts everything back to normal. So we can fix that up and bring back some of the vibrance and the colors. So that's what you've seen in all this. What I just showed you is that's all been done to that footage. To give you an example.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Anything to make it look better for our viewers.
Yep. And King Coop's commenting saying that'll be great. And he says the video at 1080p or HD, once it's fixed up, it looks amazing. And then he interesting comment. He says that sounds like it could be the WCW version of Rocky's theme, and it was the closest I could find to Rocky Overture. Is it Overture? Because that was a song that was used there, so I had to find something close, and that's what I found that I could get that's what they call royalty free, so we won't get flagged. So yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it tonight. It was fun. Unless there's any other questions, I can't think of anything else. We kind of covered everything.
Yep. Once again, I'm going to say thank you to everybody who voted in the Hall of Fame voting.
And if those of you didn't tune in the beginning, when this show goes into replay, watch the very beginning. A cameo from the very talented Jason Crossen, a.k.a. Mick Weller, makes his, I guess you could say, his Hall of Fame induction speech in a way. Little video there in the very beginning we played of Jason Crossen, and what a character, what a talent. And thanks to Jason for doing that,
Maybe someday we can finally talk him into coming on.
Maybe we'll get him on the show one of these days. But in the meantime, those little funny comic relief cameos like that, I'll take those. Jason was so talented.
Exactly.
And still is talented to this day. King Coop says, live stream as usual. Always good to see you and Dixie Dave. Y'all have a good evening and a good weekend. You too, King. I hope you stay safe. And the new picture looks great, by the way, on your profile. So for everybody else tuning in, thanks for joining us. Remember, next week we will have...
Nope. Back up. Not next week.
Oh, gosh, I'm so used to saying that. 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today. And Gizmo says, thanks again for a great show. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, as always. And by the way, Gizmo, your DVDs that you guys got coming, they're going to be coming here shortly. I'll get those out this week as well. So look for those as well. And, but yeah, so, yeah, like I said, like Dave said and corrected me, 2 weeks, we will be back, as you see, with special guest Subforce Arnie. Looking forward to talking to him. And it's going to be a watch along as well. We're going to do a show as well. Don't know which one yet, but look forward for another watch along as well after we get done talking with Arnie. So that's all 2 weeks from now.
So, for the show tonight, thank you for watching. We hope to see you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, think of some good questions for Arnie, you guys. He's waking up at 2 a.m. to come on with us live. So let's have some good questions for him.
Yep. Be thinking of what you want to ask him. King Coop, I expect to see you here.
Yep. I'm sure the guys will be here. And we're going to have a great watch along, too. We're going to pick a show, too. I don't know which one yet. We're going to have a show to watch as well. So,
Crush he'll take all the show numbers, throw them into a hat, mix it up, and reach in and pull out what show number we're going to watch.
Yeah. There's some ones that we have to get to that we didn't get to yet. So, yeah, we'll get to a good one for next week. So, or 2 weeks.
Yep. So, for myself and Crusher Crossen, we will bid you a good night. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.